So this is kind of a first for me here. Don't really normally do reviews or unboxings. Well, actually, I've never done that before, but I got a new little toy from Race Day Quads today and thought I would just do a quick unbox and showing of it because I haven't seen too many reviews of this. It's kind of like a generic Express LRS transmitter. So anyway, the HGLRC HGLRC C-1 is the model. So I was in the market for a little mini gamepad style remote, so I thought I'd give this a shot. It was stupid cheap. I got it on one of these Black Friday sales. It was like $25 plus like $12 shipping. I think the regular price is, like 50 some odd dollars. This one did not come with the dongle that they advertised for it. I'm going to be using it on the simulator, but I didn't figure it really made that big a difference because it works with Bluetooth too, supposedly. So anyway, that's the new toy. Comes in this nifty dinosaur. Can't go wrong with a dinosaur, and innovation ignites your life. Yeah, that's good stuff. Get that out of here. And by the way, I'm coming to you from the back of my camper van because it was the only spot I could find right now that was nice and sunny and gave me a chance to be outdoors. I can already tell you this is crazy lightweight. I don't even, of course there's no batteries in it, but this thing is like, I don't know, 5 ounces, 6 ounces without batteries. I'd already seen, there's been a couple reviews I know that got into the more the details of binding and all that. So I was mainly just giving a quick little overview and get my opinion of it here. Wow, that's really definitely a beginner level. For some background, I have I've been flying fixed wings for forever now. Well, not forever, but probably 20 years or so. I recently decided to start trying out some, kind of cheapo entry-level FPV quads, and I figured a little one like this would be ideal for that. I have my Radio Master Boxer right now for my main transmitter for the actual fixed wings, and a couple other old ones. But for just playing around and for practicing on the simulator, I figured this might be a good choice, especially since it was so cheap. So anyway, and other than that, in here we got manual, I guess, which I know one of the other reviewers said sucked, and the hex key, because looks like we're gonna have to unscrew all the screws on the back to get the batteries in. And then got the little leash. Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice leash. It's decent quality. And yeah, that's all it came with. Like I say, I got the no dongle version because from the little bit of research I did on this, you don't have to have that. So as a beginner in this field, I figure it's not that important. You can obviously see there's no trim buttons or anything on this, just a couple of, which is why I'm not going to be using this for any of my fixed wing stuff. We just got, it's like 2-3 position switches and some momentary switches. Your USB-C, which I believe is for binding. Real quick, I grabbed this. This should be the right size from what I read, because I don't feel like trying to use their little hex key, but and there's a little spot for a backpack too. Like one of the other reviewers mentioned, I don't know why anybody would use a backpack type receiver or transmitter, I mean, for one of these, but it looks like it's an option. Oh yeah, and for those who don't know, the big selling point of this is that it's 500 milliwatts, whereas most of these other micro ELRS transmitters are only like 100 or 250 max. That was the big reason I got it, because I figured nice to at least have that option of power. Anyway, oh yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, it comes off pretty easy. And yeah, there's a cord. Looks like the connection to the, oh yeah, the power supply is right there. And then looks like we have some kind of little brackets holding the battery in. I'm just going to pull that out so I can access it easier. And I have some 18650 batteries I had ordered for another project, but I figure they ought to work for this instead. Looking at this, the antenna is, it looks like the antenna is built in there too. I bet you if you really wanted to be DIY, I mean everything about this is kind of DIY, but I bet if you really wanted to, you could drill that out and do some sort of, you know, better aftermarket antenna. Looks like it's not. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's soldered in. Looks like it's one of those like one of the MPIX connections or whatever they're called. Anyway, that's for a later date. I'm just trying to get it working right now. So, okay. Plug her back in. This is definitely a very DIY model. I've never seen anything quite this basic, but wait, what's that? Did I forget something in there? Something's rattling. I don't like that. Oh, damn it. Forgot to put that back. Wasn't very smart. Always double check everything before you put it back together. Lesson learned. Like I say, for anybody wondering why I'm filming this in the back of my camper van, is out here trying to get a little sun. We kind of live in a dark hole on the north-facing mountain, and this time of year there just ain't a lot of sun. And I'm trying to get, it's about noon right now, and I was trying to get that few minutes of sun while I do this. And I gotta get back inside and do some other things. Anyway, well, before I screw it all back together, let's, okay, power's on fine. And I believe I kind of read the instructions online already. They're pretty terrible. I looked them up here a few days ago. And by the way, that race day quads, I mean, I've not bought much from them before, but I can't say anything bad. I mean, they gave me a good price, and their shipping was quick. I think I got this in like 5 days or something. Yeah, I think you hold, was it the bind button, and then, is that it, or how do you change the power level here? I mean, without a cooling fan, I don't know how hot this thing's gonna run, especially at the 500 milliwatt level, but we'll see. Once again, it's pretty cheap. I would imagine you could probably drill some holes in here, put a cooling fan on it, or just drill some holes in it, let it ventilate a little better. Oh, there we go. Okay, I gotta figure out. I gotta look at that a little closer and figure out how to do that correctly, because it's probably one of these time. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I guess it's just set and then bind at the same time. Oh, there we go. Okay, you kind of do them one at a time. So it's set, then bind, set, then bind, every time you want to change power level. And then, what was it? I think they said if you hold the D button down and press power at the same time, that should go, yep, into Bluetooth mode, which I believe we should be able to like access simulators from and that sort of thing. I'll try that later at my computer desk, obviously. And then I believe, what was it, hold set and power at the same time, I think it said was, yeah, that gets you into Wi-Fi mode. So should be able to do firmware updates that way, although I haven't really read that far into it. So anyway, that's kind of a quick overview. I'll continue this on later, probably from inside at my computer. But overall, pretty impressive for something so cheap, especially with, you know, pretty good power output. And the gimbals are, yeah, you know, kind of cheap, but they are what they are. I mean, you get what you pay for. But they seem like they'll hold up. Well, even with the battery, that is just so light. I cannot believe how light this thing is. So, oh yeah, we gotta put my screws on. Anyway, I'm gonna put the screws back on, and like I say, I'll continue this on later with a little more in-depth. Alright, thanks for checking it out. So here's a little follow-up on the HGLRC remote. I did get it working in Bluetooth. It works, but it's definitely pretty finicky. It was doing great up until the fact that I updated the firmware to the, you know, current ELRS, and then all of a sudden I started having issues. The firmware that it came with was great. I had no issues with that. But then, so I guess word of warning, to stick with the original firmware. I have gotten it to kind of work now on the 3.2.1 ELRS. Seems to work okay. I don't know why that would be an issue, but yeah, it seems to be. But other than that, I mean, it's working. Of course, this is my noob self here practicing, but only have a couple hours time on the flight right now, or on the simulator. Other than that, everything else seems to work pretty good. I've done a couple flights with it on my newly acquired 2.5-inch Cinewhoop, and it controls just fine. So one other thing I noticed that was kind of worth noting is that if you want to do firmware updates with the cable, you can, but you have to have the remote turned off. It's kind of strange. And the Wi-Fi does seem to work as well to do updates. And yeah, that's about it. So far, I'm pretty impressed with it, though. It's a pretty solid feeling little remote. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Just getting some practice in here. Oh, ran out of battery. Anyway, you know what, there was one other thing I was going to show. Let's see if I can get it on my screen here. So yeah, like I say, when I did the firmware update, this was what I got that seemed to work okay with the Bluetooth connection, and that's the target. ESP E28 2.4 gig transmit under DIY devices. Yep, and like I say, it seems like it works with Wi-Fi or cable as long as you connect it with the power off. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I think that sums it up pretty good for now. Like I say, thanks for checking this out, and I'll try and do some other updates later. Or maybe I'll do a quick talk on my progress as going from the simulator to real flights, because I have actually done a few already with a couple hours, well, I'd say about 2.5 hours, I think, flight time. I'll double check. So that's about it.